is like in the cloud world, people have like a lot of data copies running for the managing their apps and services. And they have to run these copies across the dev and the QA. Okay. Generally, they manage these copies with the DIY and the manual scripts. Or what we have seen is another problem they run into is rebuilding the entire environment for the data refresh. So if they create these multiple copies and they have to do a sync with the newer data and whatnot, then it has to be done a data refresh with a weekly or daily basis, and it takes them to do their custom settings again and whatnot, right? Another one is in managing the data copies. We have seen them, they have to maintain multiple versions for each organization. So prod environment might have a different version than the dev environment, than the test environment, and everyone is keeping different versions to test it across the board. So it takes sync to the latest. It's time consuming, and if you have to do a mapping between different organizations and different versions, it basically can be really difficult process. And the last thing which we have come to know, or we have found across the board, is it's a bottleneck for continuous integration and testing. So more and more data, production data coming in, developers using it, testers using it, and then there is new feature and new functionality which is coming in. So how do you keep all this running, all the data in sync of which is being used to build the new features and fix the releases? So what we have done with the feature of SyncVM, we have basically, with the help of that, it basically has made the fast and automated copy management across the dev and QA. So what has happened there is the developers have gone and focused on the software delivery and the development instead of managing the scripts and doing the custom type of Excel sheets and whatnot to maintain that different copies of data across the board in sync. Another thing which we have done quite a bit there is, like, if a test environment has its own custom settings, if a developer environment has its own setting, they don't need to change their settings anytime they're getting a new data. They can basically go in and then do a refresh of the incoming data which is coming, and that's pretty much it. And the granularity which we have brought to the point of the data refresh, it's basically an hourly time also. Like, you can sync it as much as you want and how fast you want, and that's how it will keep there. Another thing which we found when people were trying to access the backups or something to get their data, the concept in regards to, like, to pick a snapshot, there was a big situation where if they go backwards to get a snapshot, the existing versions or the versions after that timestamp, they will lose or something. So what we did is we built this process in which you can basically go to any snapshot in any time for any organization and then pick all that data and then run with it. It basically has helped the QA organizations to automate and prioritize what versions they are running, because if multiple revisions of your app are going out, right, and people are using different custom settings, then you can prioritize, okay, which one to automate for the QA process. And the last one, the big one we have seen, is it has helped people with the continuous integration and the testing process. It basically, people have automated with the REST APIs and whatnot, the entire process of the QA process. So they bring up the instances, they shoot the scripts out into the QA process, it brings up those VMs, it does the testing, runs the test scripts, and then it is brought down, and that process keeps on going. Another one, what SyncVM has done for our customers is, or the users, is basically fast recovery from accidents. So as a developer or a tester, you're using some file or a script and program, right? And in your environment, accidentally you delete a file, right? You don't need to go and restore the whole of your VM, whole of your settings, or go to a backup team and get that data. In our case, like instant point-in-time restore. So backups are easy, but when you're looking backwards in regards to doing the instant point-in-time restore, that is what we have implemented successfully. So people are using it in the VMware type of environment where they have built the vCloud, where they have built the ESXi, the environments, the VRO, VROps. The point here is like what we are bringing out is in OpenStack, will it make life easier for a multi-tenant type of environment where if you're using this in dev test environment or a QA environment, how many copies for projects different you are running, the users you are running, do you want all this management of the different data copies to be basically in sync all the time? So how do we do it in VMware? Basically, you can see this is one of the applications where people have used it quite a bit. So you have a production VM which is being used. It can be, for our hypothetical case, it can be an OpenStack environment, right? And then you have two tenants there. One is the app dev VM and the QA test VM. So the production VM, the one which is basically used by your main customer, it has its own two tiers, right? One is the OS pages and the logs, right? The operating system and custom settings. And then there is a data collection of the app data which is happening out there. In the case of a developer, what they can do is they can directly fetch the app data and then keep the sync going automatically. In this case of the sync, there was a challenge which came our way in regards to from one of our customers, and we were asked, like, can we do it in less than 5 minutes? And I don't know if I have 5 minutes more. You don't. Okay. So otherwise we could. Okay. So this demo itself, what we can show here is, will it run? Yeah.
Hey everyone, Nick Kalwalia, Senior Engineer with Tintri.
Skip through it a little bit.
Legacy storage when we told them that, hey, we can do things like refresh databases from your apps and databases from your production to your test environment and speed up your app dev refresh cycle. He said, listen, that stuff would take me hours, literally days of coordination. I told him, listen, I have a demo that I can finish up in under 5 minutes. And he said, I absolutely challenge you to finish an entire refresh from a production environment to a test environment in less than 5 minutes. So, we did that then, and I just want to replicate that same process again. Challenge accepted. So once again, looking at it over here, I have my Tintri UI. I am going to open up a production database right over here. This is web-based interface with PHPMyAdmin, interfacing with MySQL. This will work with any and every database, really. I have another more detailed recording with SQL itself. So you could have CRM or any other application really interfacing in with this. So right away, I do want to point out, you'll see that I have a prod demo table over here, and I am going to go ahead and modify some information in my production environment. So let's just pick this test. Today is Friday, April 22nd. So let's go ahead and put that in. Friday. April 22nd. So I've now updated my database with Friday, April 22nd. Let's flip out to my test environment and see what's happening inside that. So back in my production over here, and there's my test environment coming up. So I'm in my test. Let's log in and see what's happening there. And you'll see I don't even have my prod demo table in my database. So I need to refresh that from production into my test environment. So first thing we do is search for those VMs inside our Tintri. And you'll notice that I see my test environment and my production environment over here. I made changes to production, so I'm going to take a snapshot of production. Two options over here. I get a crash consistent and a VM consistent. I'm just going to call this crash consistent because databases today are very resilient. with 1-minute checkpoints and other features built into them. So I'm going to just take a crash consistent. A VM consistent is going to QS and take the snap. It just delays the snap maybe by 30, 40 seconds. Crash consistent snap. I'm just going to call this Nick test. And let's take this snapshot.
That's it. It's done. At this point,
that's it. It's done. At this point, I'm going to go to my test environment. Right-click the virtual machine and say refresh virtual.
So I'm looking to refresh test.
So I'm looking to refresh test from
production.
Using
the snap
that we just took. So Friday, April 22nd, 2016. This is key. Pinterest Baz is the only appliance out there right now which can literally see every single file.
So just in the interest of time, I can pretty much tell you, like, as soon as he presses refresh, whole of the database gets updated. So the main point here is what we want to bring is that with SyncVM, we have been able to, basically in the VMware environment, people have been able to sync their production and the test dev environments quite a bit with all the data and keep all the copies in sync to the granularity, which in the demo we were showing to a point of like minutes or hours, whatever you want. With the REST APIs which we provide, you can basically go and automate whole of this process. So we wanted to get the feedback and any comment or anything, like if this will be good for the OpenStack environment. Because you have a multi-tenant environment, you're using it in the dev test environment, you're using production data to make more and more of your OpenStack cloud to host that environment and then get the developers running. So that's what we're looking at. That's it. Thank you.